Have Mark Noble here with us. Congratulations on the win. It's a great way to finish the year, particularly after such a spectacular year for West Ham, isn't it?
I think today, after playing obviously 2 days ago, and Watford not having a game for I think a couple of weeks now, it was a tough ask for us to come here today. We had Dijk missing and a few other players out. 3 of our back 4 have been out in the last month or so. So to come here and get the victory today was very important, and it was a really good performance, especially in the first half.
Yeah, and I think particularly after that game against Southampton, where David Moyes suggested that you were all a little bit flat on Boxing Day, to come out with a performance, as you say, 2 days later and completely change things. How important is that for the team and for you being such a big part of this club?
I think the gaffer was right. I think against the Southampton we was a little bit flat, but also they'd had 10 days to rest and recover. We had to play Spurs obviously in the cup game, but all in all I think today was really important after we've had a tough run of games and also a tough run of results, and we need to get back to winning ways to stay up there in that top half. And today I thought we was really good, especially the boys that come in. I thought they'd done really well today.
And Mark, your first start, 1-0 down after 4 minutes, you probably thought, what am I doing?
You've obviously played the game, so you know what's that. Yeah, after 4 minutes, and especially the crowd was really up for it today. You could feel that, and they haven't seen a lot of football in the past couple of weeks here. So, but I thought the way we rallied, the way we got back into the game, I thought we controlled it for the first half. I think they rallied a little bit in the second half and put our centre halves under some pressure, but all in all it was pretty comfortable.
Question about the midfield. It's tough, obviously, because Declan Rice, Thomas Souček have been doing incredibly well, but today I noticed Souček get a little bit more in the box. Was that something you had discussed before? Because you were quite happy sitting there and just screening the back 4. Did he have more of a licence to get forward today?
Yeah, I think because Manu drops pretty deep to try and get the ball as well. You know, we played him a little bit advanced, but naturally he drops and wants to get on the ball. So we said to Tom, just go and get in the box and do what he does best. Obviously, I say the same to Dijk when I play with Dijk, because he's so good going forward as well as protecting the back 4. So. I thought there was a nice balance in there today, and Mikey coming back gives us a massive lift. He's been out for 10 days with COVID, so yeah, all in all it was a good day, and then we've got a few days rest to play against Crystal Palace.
I mean, we were saying, even though you're 1-0 down, we thought it was only a matter of time before you scored, because although you're 1-0 down after 4 minutes, you were dominating possession, you were creating chances, and we said Watford's best chance to keep it at 1-0. But once you went 2-1 up, it was comfortable, wasn't it?
It felt that out there. It felt like we had control of the game, kept moving, had 1 or 2 chances, kept putting balls in the box. We had 3 or 4 set plays early doors, and normally we're good on them, but I think ᴍᴏʀᴏ won every header at one point. So apart from that, I think we had control of the game, and they look pretty dangerous on the counter-attack, but as much as we limited that, I thought the boys controlled that really well and pushed on and won the game comfortably.
For you personally, to get that goal, which puts you second on the list of all-time scorers at West Ham, what does that mean to you alongside Di Canio?
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic for myself, but today at 2-1 up and then getting a penalty, it was and having to wait so long to take it. Really important goal for us, because that gives us a 2-goal buffer, you know, and it sort of limits Watford's hopes at that point. And I'm just glad it hit the back of the net and could celebrate with our fans and look forward to the 3 points.
What do you feel David Moyes has done to change things at West Ham, particularly looking at the entire calendar year?
I think he's got an organisation, a set way of playing. I think he's got an incredible way of getting players to do things what normally they don't really want to do, and he's just rallied the club. I think the fans, we've had a little bit of a dip, but every team's going to go through that. But today was massive for us, and then going to Crystal Palace is going to be another big game.
Well, just a word of advice, a piece of advice: don't go in there and say you're mentally fatigued to the manager, because if you've seen his face before the game when he was asked about it, you won't mention it. Is he that type of manager where he just very much get on with it? And
to be honest, I'm fine. I've only played about 3 games. No, but it has been really. I think Mikey said that after the game the other day, and it has been tough for us. Yeah. You know, we've had a lot of games, and the only one I think we missed is Norwich that got postponed. So. But you know, sometimes it's better to keep going. I think that showed today, you know, than having a break, and The boys look strong, even though like Jared and Saeed had played 2 days ago. They look fantastic tonight, and a really good performance.
On a serious note on the mental fatigue, you've got a great group of players here, clearly working very well together, particularly when you have all of your defensive players here. But in January, do you need to look for other players in some areas of the game to move things forward?
I think in the window at the start of the season, what I did learn about the boss is that if he don't think a player's going to come in and strengthen and make us better, he won't jump into anything. So, and I think that's really important because we've got a really good squad of players. We want to keep pushing, we want to keep testing and making the players that we've got here play better because they're under pressure, and that's the main thing. So I'm pretty sure the manager stays to the training ground at 7, 8 o'clock every night looking at players. So we'll probably get a few in, but hopefully they're the right ones that improve the team.
Are you playing the kind of football at West Ham that you've wanted to play at West Ham now?
I think we're defensively solid most weeks. We've got good attacking players who could create, like tonight, and can score goals. It's really important that we have players come off the bench like Nicky and score because he's a great lad. He works his socks off, and it's important for him. And everyone chips in with goals here and there. Do I think we're playing? I still think we can play better. Obviously, you got Declan to come back, and Angelo, and Krezi, and Big Kurt. So when we get most of them back, we'll be even stronger.
And just finally, you said you think you can do better. What is the aim for West Ham? Getting into the top 6, getting into the top 4?
I mean, look, listen, top 4 is a massive ask. We'll keep trying, but I think top 6, the way we started the season, I think we'd be disappointed not to be around there at the end of the season.
Okay, really appreciate your time.
Thanks
for coming to talk to us.
Cheers,
Mark Noble, thank you.
See you, mate.
Well done.
Always fascinating to hear from the players, and the fans a few of them have waited here as well in order to speak to him and say hi, take some photos on his way out of Vicarage Road, having scored one of the goals in a 4-1 victory over West Ham. That idea about being in the top 6, I just want to ask him about that, or the top 4 possibly, is because David Moyes has been talking about disrupting the top 6. Actually, sorry, he says disrupting the big 6. That's his phrase that he's been using a few times at the start of this season, and he wants to do that permanently. That's a long-term plan. Do you see West Ham being part of that big 6 at all?
I think it's good to differentiate between the two, because obviously top 6 and big 6 are two very different things.
He said big 6,
yeah,
yes.
and he's talking about the bigger clubs, shall we say, that are establishing themselves season in, season out in those top 6 positions. And I think he sees West Ham with potential as the size of a club, the stadium they have, if they get it right on the pitch, which they have done this season, and really started to press, and then they can step into that group. And I think that's something that his ambition as a manager really shows when you see them play.
But of course, if you talk about the top 6, we're really talking about 4th, 5th and 6th. We're not talking about 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Because of course, you know, it's funny when people talk about the top 6. Man City don't talk about the top 6, they talk about 1st or 2nd, as do Liverpool. When you talk about top 6, you're talking about 4th, 5th or 6th. And of course, if you look at Arsenal rebuilding, Tottenham going through what they're going through, West Ham have every reason to feel that they can be between 4th and 6th. So I think they've got a good chance, because as Arsenal are inconsistent, or Tottenham, so West Ham have got a good chance now they've won today.
Yeah, he was talking about that as a long-term plan, but obviously the result today helps towards that. Let's have a look at the goals, because Emmanuel Dennis did score within the first 5 minutes. As you mentioned though, John, at that point we were all saying we expect this to potentially turn around, but what about this first goal?
Well, it's a fantastic goal. You can see Dawson probably could have got a bit tight, but also, more importantly, he shouldn't have if he stood on his feet instead of diving in, he could have blocked the second shot. Here he goes to ground, where if he doesn't go to ground, he could have blocked it. But the game hadn't taken shape, so we didn't know what to expect from Watford, and Ranieri said it himself. He doesn't know how Watford are going to perform because they haven't trained in 18 days, and unfortunately for them, that was as good as it got for them.
Yeah, Dennis always the danger man for them, and he tried during the game, and they tried to get to him during the game, didn't they? But they just couldn't manage it, Watford.
But it needed something like that for them to score. It was almost like Watford were playing for a piece of individual brilliance, as opposed to a collective plan of this is how we're going to break West Ham down, this is how we're going to score goals. It needed something like that, and they got it early on, but you know, they obviously just couldn't keep the ball out of the other end.
And did you feel that West Ham had that cohesion, particularly getting that leveller, that equaliser that came from Thomas Souček?
Yeah, throughout the whole game. I think you know what West Ham are going to do, and they stick to it. David Moyes alluded to it in his interview before the game. We do what we do, we're going to keep doing it.
And you see the ball that Bowen plays here, because of his invention, his flair. He gets the ball, he turns Souček. The centre-half should come across, because you can see the gap he's running into. But when you have You have players like Bowen, you've got players like Lanzini. They've got a lot of flair, they've got a lot of invention. You've got Mikel Antonio up front. They're always going to be more of a threat than relying on an individual. So they've got a really good pattern of play, and they've got 3 defenders missing. So, you know, I was really impressed with West Ham today.
We've also seen lots of different people being able to score goals. We've seen that over the season with West Ham. Saïd Benrahma with their second goal, and he is someone who can every now and again have that flair, can't he, to score like this?
Oh, very much so. I think he's very much a flair player. Again, defensively, it's just too passive from Watford, but the run from Antonio, that's what he brings, those driving runs into the channel. And then Benrahma, who gets himself in the box, just pulls out a little bit, sees the space. Poor defending again. I think they should just come out to that line and identify where the man is, but he gets on the end of it and it's another goal.
And Jared,
David, after 2 Premier League defeats in a row, you must be so pleased to come from behind and put in such a good performance today.
Yeah, it was a really good result. We've done a lot of good things. We could do better in some other things, but overall it was a good result for us after, you know, got to remember we've only played 48 hours ago and they've had the best part of 2 weeks off.
Is it nice to prove to everyone that West Ham can win without Declan Rice on pitch?
We won last year. If you look at your stuff, you'd have seen it. We won last year. We got injured playing for England and we won quite a few games there. So we've got a good team. It's not just about Declan.
But it must be such a luxury to have someone like Mark Noble to come on, and what a performance he had today. How impressed were you with him?
He played so well today for someone who's not played as much, but overall he's got a great attitude. Everybody knows about him here and the work he does. So he played well today, he really did, yeah.
What did you make of the VAR decisions today?
It looks like we've gone back to the way we were a year and a half ago with soft free kicks, and that will be a shame for the game if that's the way we're going. I've just seen it just now and I think it's a ludicrously decision that they don't give that third goal for that level of free kick. So I actually didn't complain at the time because I thought give the referee and VAR a chance. Ludicrously soft it was, and I just can't believe that goal wasn't given. I really don't.
And just in terms of the game, the context of the table at the moment, how important was the win to make sure that you keep up with the top 4?
Well, we're not talking about the top 4. You are. We're only talking about doing the best we can, challenging the top, trying to be up and around the top teams if we can. We enjoyed it when we were in the top 4, and I look forward to it when I get back in again.
And just finally, you've actually overtaken Harry Redknapp in terms of the all-time Premier League wins with 237 as a manager in total. How much does that mean?
Well, I'm smiling because it's a long journey, and everybody who's done this job will tell you how hard it is to win the games, how hard it is to stay in the job sometimes. So yeah, that's something that I'm pleased with. And I'm disappointed for Harry because I've taken over in Harry, but Harry's a really good lad, and I'm sure he'll understand.
Thanks, David. Well done,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudio, a disappointing result after such a promising start. What went wrong from your perspective?
Oh, it's difficult to say. I think now we had to help ourselves with the best decision on the pitch and try to understand why we scored very early, and then we can continue to play well, and suddenly we conceded 2 goals. And we had the best moment in the second half, and we considered a penalty. Oh my God. And that at the end was very, very hard to try to do something good. We shoot a goal a lot of times, maybe more than West Ham, but that's a football. Now we have to stay calm and understand what is the best solution for us.
What did you make of the VAR decisions today? Do you think it was a penalty?
I don't know. It's very difficult to say. The referee considered goal a penalty. For me, I didn't see. I'm honest, I don't know.
You did get off to a great start with a stunning strike from Emmanuel Dennis. How key is he to this Watford side at the moment?
No, Dennis is a very good player, scored goals. I'm very happy with him. But we have to improve together. We stay together in this bad moment for us. I knew it was a difficult match because when we have, it's not an excuse, it's a reality. When you have just one session to train is very hard. But now I hope we stay together and we can train well.
But it must be a worry that Emmanuel Dennis could be going off to the Africa Cup of Nations. How much are you going to miss him? That must be something on your mind at the moment.
No, I don't know now if he goes or no. We have to wait and look at what happened.
And what's the latest with ᴍᴏᴀ? He had to be substituted before half-time. What's the latest
he
with him?
felt something to his hamstring, and was good to change because I didn't want to stress him.
And that was something that you spoke about before the game, that you worried with only one full training session that injuries like this may happen.
Yeah, but I am very happy because only ᴍᴏᴀ, and I don't know if his injury or just he felt something, no? And nobody had suffered injury. Also, ᴅᴏᴀ was the first match after a long time ago, and he was okay. That is was important.
And after the COVID outbreak and these postponements, what now for Watford after a run of 5 defeats?
Yes, we have to, I can say, we have to stay together and together to understand what the players feel during the match, because we made fantastic matches and now we are a little scared. But always I say fear less, try to play, but easy to say, it's more difficult on the pitch.
Thanks, Claudio.
Thank you to you.
His demeanour is always quite upbeat, isn't it? So it's a slightly different interview with Claudio Ranieri, but he does have a lot to do. Is part of the fact that he doesn't seem that disappointed, he's disappointed but not ridiculously disappointed, because of the team that they're playing against? They've played some of the big sides already, haven't they? Whereas the next run is against sides that they maybe should be beating the teams around them.
Yeah, they've had a tough run. I think it's only Brentford in the last 4 since the United game that you'd say are a team that they realistically should be taking points off. So West Ham fall into that bracket of Manchester City, Liverpool in terms of they're up there in the top 6 in the league when they're playing them. So I understand that. It's more about the direction of the performance, and I think, you know, he's alluded a couple of times, doesn't want to make it an excuse about the lack of being able to be on the training pitch, but there has to be a real clear direction about how Watford are going to get out of the trouble they're in, and I think that's the biggest thing for him and his coaches to work on.
Yeah, the disappointment is that the Chelsea game and some of the games they've played, they've lost, but they played well, and that's why he was upbeat. Now, if you don't play well, if you play well and you lose, then you're going to have to start winning matches either by playing well or either being lucky. Now, if you don't play well and you lose, and you're playing well and you lose, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
So much about managing the game, though, Johnny. Like you mentioned there about we were doing okay, then all of a sudden we're 2 down.
Yeah.
And it's decisions on the pitch and moments on the pitch that just Watford aren't producing with that game management. The players aren't making the right decisions at the right time.
It was in this game particularly because, as I said, I was here at the Chelsea game and they dominated. They could have scored goals and he was happy because although they lost, if you continue to play that way, you will win. But now they're not playing that way, so therefore it's going to be hard for them.
And they have had those big wins, haven't they, against Everton and Manchester United, and then other sides like this one have been very different. But the sides around West Ham have also been playing in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Just need Prime Video for everything this week. We've got all of the matches. Let's have a look at the goals from those other games.